Hello, good evening, and welcome to the program, The Law of the People and Governance here on Spectrum Television. Today, we'll take a look at two different things, and that will be the judgment debt, which the President, Muhammadu Buhari, is seeking approval of the Senate. And of course, we'll also take a look at the Akwa Ibom State of Assembly considering to amend the State Independent Electoral Commission Law 2007, and also taking a look at establishing the industry cooperation bill as well. So we'll take a look at those two things on today's program. My name is Rachel David White. So let's quickly come down here to Akwa Ibom State. The House of Assembly has considered amending the State Independent Electoral Commission Law 2007, and the House also considered a bill for a law to establish Ibom Industrial City Corporation. That's for the development and regulation of Ibom Industrial City and for other matters connected therewith. During plenary yesterday, the two executive bills passed through first and second reading and were committed to the House committees on Industry, Commerce and Tourism, and that of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs as well. The leader of the House, Udokiran, spoke on the bill. That's the bill for a law to establish Ibom Industrial City Corporation for the development and regulation of Ibom Industrial City and other matters connected therewith. And he said the bill, when passed, will regulate the operation of Ibom Deep Seaport and its facilities, and said that the most of the stiff requirements for the establishment of the seaport have been overcome by the Federal Executive Council. And another one on the bill for a law to amend the Akwa Ibom State Independent Electoral Commission Law 2007 and for other matters connected therewith. The leader said an amendment will take care of a few clauses that will ensure a hitch-free local government elections, which will be due on December 2023. In the same vein, a member for Insidentai State Constituency, Marcus said the amendment of the Akisiek law shows the forwardness of the state government to put things in place to ensure the present tenure of local government administration, which will expire by December 2023, is taken over by an elected system through a proper electoral process without delay to foreclose chances of transition committee, which is not a perfect model at the time. And that meeting, or sitting rather, was presided over by the Speaker, Enyekan Basi, who urged the respective House committees to consider the bills and report to the House in 2 days. Well, if these bills are being passed into law, it becomes a law in Akwa Ibom State, what does this hope to achieve? This is what we are going to take a look at on today's program. One of the things we'll take a look at on today's program. So we'll go on a short break. When we come right back, we'll come back with our guests so we can move into the topic immediately. So do stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the program, The Law, the People, and Governance here on Spectrum TV. So I said when we come right back, I will take a look at those bills that are already that have passed first and second reading already in the House of Assembly here in Akwa Ibom State. Of course, there's a bill considered for passage or amendment rather, and that's one of it is the State Independent Electoral Commission Law 2007. Another one is a bill to establish Ibom Industrial City Corporation for the development and regulation of Ibom Industrial City and for other matters connected to and it has a lot to do with Ibom Deep Seaport. And of course, those are the things we'll take a look at today, but we will dwell much on the Independent Electoral Commission Law 2007. So on the line already, we have standing by our guest, Barrister Martin Zukwe, human rights lawyer and a political analyst. Good evening and welcome to the show, Barrister.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so Barrister, before you joined us, I just did a quick one, just a review or a summary of the bills currently in the State House here in Akwa Ibom State that is being considered for passage. And one of them is the, let's start from the Ibom Industrial City Corporation Bill, which seeks to regulate Ibom's industrial city, you know, everything that has to do with that and has much to do with Ibom Deep Seaport. I think this bill coming in right now, okay, let me ask first, what's your view? If this bill comes to stay and it's being established, it becomes a law in Akwa Ibom State, what do you think about this bill?
Yeah, my take on the bill that is currently going on in the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly, which seeks to establish the Ibom Industrial City and other matters related there. My opinion is very candid about it. It is a welcome development, of course. Looking at the content and the intent of the bill, it is very, very impressive. But however, I have my reservations about the bill. One of the first questions I would like to ask regarding the sponsoring of the bill in the House of Assembly right now is we are at the verge of ending the government right now. The House of Assembly is at the verge of holding a valedictory session. And looking at the dates that we have to the handing over of the present government, do you think that the House of Assembly will be able to achieve the very aims of the bill? And I know that the government is in continuing.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. You know, it has to continue whatever it came to see.
From precedent, from what we have been having in the past years, you can reality know that the new phase of the legislature that is coming in might not likely pick up interest in the present bill that is being sponsored by this present assembly. The bill might be lying in abeyance till the end of the next government. And you realize that all the effort that was being put in by this assembly in achieving this bill for the establishment of Ibom Industrial City and other related matters in that bill will be a waste, a total waste of the time of that assembly. Now, the question is, the assembly had 4 good years to make laws for the good governance of Akwa Ibom State. What stopped the assembly from putting in place those human-oriented, far-reaching policy bills that will affect the life of Akwa Ibom people, that will affect the economy of the state? Why now that the assembly is at the point of exit, at the exit door, that they are sponsoring such a bill? To me, I think the assembly doesn't really mean well. The intent of the assembly is not about the welfare of the people. They know for sure that they will not be able to put forth this bill who is going to assent to the bill? Is it Governor Emmanuel that is leaving office on the 29th of May?
No, don't say
29th
29. Sounds long. On Monday, in a matter of 3 days.
Because, yes, it's leaving office in a matter of few days. Now, a bill is simply a paperwork until it is assented to by the executive, until it's been appended by the executive governor. That's when it becomes a law. That's when it can be acted upon. So if a bill is not assented to by the executive, then it just remains an academic exercise. And I wouldn't want the assembly, the Equal Assembly, to conduct an academic exercise for the purpose of creating name, and at the end of the day, it is not implemented. Implementation makes a cardinal point of the legislature. So, what gives credence to the entire work of the legislature is implementation. Is when the executive appends to the bill that is being passed by the House of Assembly and it becomes a law. That is when the executive can now act upon it, and that is when the credit goes back to the Assembly for making such a human-oriented law. So for me, the intendment is good, but as the material time is bad. Maybe the Assembly did not really look at the indices. Okay, let me go back to history a bit. The issue of Ibom industrial city does not, it's not a matter that actually started today. Successive governments, starting from the 1999 Victor led government, they were talking about Ibom Deep Seaport, talking about the Victor led government actually established the Blue Sea. There is this industrial city that the Tale government were trying to establish. Even the 2015 government of Gossip Roberto Fabio also tried to put in place, but all what we are seeing is an academic exercise. It's a paperwork. We have not really seen it being implemented.
Barrister, can you hear me?
The government of 2015 to 2 that is gradually winding up on Monday. Also talk about industrialization of Akwa Ibom State, and all we keep seeing and we keep hearing is either we hear and we see a paperwork which has not really been implemented.
Barrister, sorry to cut you. You know, something makes me wonder sometimes. This Ibom Deep Seaport has been, you know, a plan that has been I would say conceived for a very long time, like you've said, and then it keeps passing from one administration to the other and it doesn't come to reality. Yeah, I remember when the Udom Emmanuel-led administration came into power, there was so much heat and it sounded like, you know, the seaport was going to be visible in the next few years. And then there were promises made. I think Akanokon, okay, was being assigned, you know, to take a look at the point was appointed commissioner for Ibom Deep Seaport, right? And then it sounded like it was going to be visible in the next few years. It was going to be something we can touch. And if you want to go into, you know, I would say the economic benefits, this seaport would not just generate to the state, but the country at large, you know, the level of economic benefit it would have, the impact it would have on the state and in the country, it's quite huge. So if the state and even the federal government cannot do anything about it and it's passing from different administrations to the other, why do we think that this administration would just come and pick it up? It looks like it's going to finish. There are promises that this year would not pass and it keeps. So 8 good years has passed again and Ibom Deep Seaport is still a dream that doesn't look like it's going to ever come through. What is the problem?
Rachel, from what has been, you can talk about what will be. In philosophy, I was told that from what you know, you talk about what you do not know. Now, from what we have seen, from the antecedent that we have seen of successive governments, we have seen that the Victor led government of 1999 to 2007 talked about the establishment and the putting in place of the facility, the structure, the working of Ibom Deep Seaport. And at the end of the day, we realized that it was not working. The government couldn't do what they promised. Even the 2007 to 2015 Gospel Party government also talked. We also saw on paperwork talking about doing Ibom reports. And 2015 to now, Udom Emmanuel led government has constantly given Akwa Ibomite the assurances that he is going to put in place Ibom Deep, that before he leaves office on 29 May 2023, that Ibom Deep will be working and running. At the end of the day, what we have seen is that nothing has been done pertaining to Ibom Deep Seaport. From this analysis and this antecedent, would someone with a reasonable Akwa Ibom really believe the incoming administration that they have the capacity to put Ibom Deep Seaport running?
I think it's better to give them a benefit of doubt. Okay, I think it's better to I think it's better to try to give them that benefit of doubt that something may happen. Of course, they have 4 good years to try to see what they can do. So we can give them a benefit of doubt.
You see, I would personally, I would not give the incoming administration the benefit of the doubt, because even the Udom Emmanuel government of 2015 2023 had approval from the Federal Executive Council. Of course, the Federal Executive Council even voted money into the development of from this seaport. And I remember when the president approved funds to be released for the development of Ibom Deep Seaport. And I was very grateful for the government of the Federation for approving Ibom Deep Seaport. And of course, I was thinking that it was the Jonathan government that was supposed to approve the Ibom Deep Seaport, being that Gospel Party was in the PDP and the PDP was government at the top. But Buhari government actually approved the development of Ibom Deep Seaport, but up to today, it has not really been. The funds that we approved, I don't know how, I don't want to ask question about the funds, whether it was released by the federal government, whether it was used or utilized for the purpose which the funds were meant to be used. But what we have seen is that nothing has been done with regards to the development of Ibom Deep Seaport. So I do not want to leave the incoming administration with the benefit of the doubt that anything is going to be done about it.
Okay, you have every right to have feel whatever you want to feel.
To God and to the next administration if they are actually capable of developing Ibom Deep Seaport. Because when we talk about developing Ibom Deep Seaport, it is for a gigantic industrial outburst that will take place in Akwa Ibom State.
Not just the state, I think the country at large.
The economy of Akwa Ibom State to an industrial city, and Akwa Ibom State economy will be competing with that of Lagos, with that of Rivers State, and with that of big economies in Nigeria. So at the end of the you end up seeing that if you are putting the analysis side by side, one might just be left with with the option that the incoming administration might not still be able to develop Ibom Deep Seaport. That's not my prayers for now. We are hoping that the incoming administration be able to do something about
okay
okay,
Barrister, let's move away from that. We have other laws like that which seeks to talk about, look at ACISEC as well, but that's not what we are also going to look at. We're going to look at the law amending or considering the amendment of the State Independent Electoral Commission Law 2007. Okay, so I would say the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly has been a beehive, recently, and with the inauguration, which is just going to be in few days from now, 3 days, and of course the House considering to amend certain laws at the dying minutes, like you said, on their way out, they decide to, amend certain laws and establish others as well. And in the wake of the conduct of the 2023 polls by December as well. So do you think this should make people or voters excited or, get worried?
Like I already said, I do not think that the House of Assembly really meant well for these laws that they are trying to put in place for now. Some of them might really have good intent about putting these laws on ground. But I want to believe that the larger majority of the legislature do not really mean well. These are bills that would have been passed before now. These are life-touching bills. These are bills that, of course, it has a far-reaching. It will have a far-reaching effect on the state policy and how it affects the generality of the interests of every Akwa Ibomite. But my concern is why these bills now? Because of course, you know that there are so many bills that will be left untouched in the House of Assembly. There are some of those that have even been moved to the executive, that have even passed to the executive for assent, and of course, it will still be lying there. The governor will have no option than to just leave with a note, an exit note to the incoming administration that, oh, this bill, I would have done something about it. This is actually a bill that will have an effect on the economy. This is actually a bill that will have effect on the democracy or the political development of the state. But since I could not touch it, the incoming governor may be able to do something about those that they kind of know that an exiting governor lives in his office. Now,
Okay,
it is incumbent.
Barrister, let me
it is
ask you something.
incumbent
Let me ask you something. Now, talking about this particular bill now, the, amending the State Electoral Commission Law 2007, there was expectations when the electoral, there was the same amendment, of course, amendment of the Electoral Act in 2022, right? That would have helped in the conduct of a free, fair, and smooth elections. So this bill, I think it spurred so many exciting reactions when it was actually looked into. It was enacted upon, amended, things were going on right, and then there were certain laws that should have aided a smooth conduct of the elections, but we saw a different thing. So what makes us think that even if this bill was actually assented to, by the governor, things would change?
Well, I have never had faith in the electoral process of whether INEC or AKISI. The only time that would have had confidence in the electoral body, say INEC or AKISI, for example, is the just concluded general elections, which Nigerians gave INEC the benefit of the doubt, believing that INEC, for the first time, would be able to conduct a free and fair election for Nigerians. But at the end of the day, the turnout of the entire process was what Nigerians still couldn't believe. Some Nigerians have not been able to wake up from the shock that greeted them in the just concluded general elections. Looking at it from that premises, I do not think that no matter the law that is being amended, even if there is a bill on ground that is to amend a section of the AKISI law 2007, if AKISI as a body is not determined to conduct a free and fair process, of course, there will be no change in what has always been. Looking at what has always been in Akwa Ibom State, there has never been a time that AKISI will conduct the election and you will see an opposition party in Akwa Ibom State winning election. It has always been
Aside from that,
31
Barrister, aside from
for
that,
the People's Democratic Party. So for me, is there no way that any other person from the opposition party can win election?
okay,
Apart from
Barrister, let me ask
the ruling
something.
party, which is the PDP, having
Can you hear
31
me?
over 31.
Can you hear me, Barrister? I know
I can
that
hear
when
you.
it comes to the local government elections, that the governor has a lot to, dictate, in the local government elections. So according to the words of Sakirian, this is going to help, have a hitch-free local government election, right? If it's been amended. So would you say we've reached a point where local government elections should be conducted by INEC and not government electoral body or something?
You see, when we talk about the Nigerian constitution, one of the problems that we are having in this country is the constitution, that piece of paper called the Constitution of Nigeria. That piece of paper that seemingly looks like the Constitution of Nigeria is not actually the Constitution of Nigeria. Because when you call Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you should be simply referring to a body of laws which is unanimously as made and accepted, which will be acceptable to all Nigerians. Which that it therefore means that every Nigerian, directly and indirectly, should have a contribution, should contribute a quota to the development of that piece of book called the Constitution of Nigeria. Now, the lacunas in the Constitution, that paper called Constitution of Nigeria, has really created the problem that we are having in Nigeria today. The question is, why should there be a state electoral body conducting election for the state? Of course, this goes a long way to show the problem that we're having with the local government administration.
Yeah, and
It gives the governors of the state supreme powers to select whoever they want and put as puppet as local government chairman and councillors. Of course, the Constitution of Nigeria should be amended that INEC should conduct election from the local government level to the state level and to the federal level. So why are we having a separate body which the name is attached to the state, Akisiek, conducting election for the state? Of course, who appoints the Akisiek boss? Is it not the executive governor? So he who pays the piper simply detects the tune.
Okay, Barrister,
we can never depart from the norm if the right thing is not done.
Barrister,
just like I'm coming, Rachel. Just like the recommendation, a parting recommendation made by Festus Keyamo to the federal government of Nigeria. He recommended that the office of the Minister of State should be scrapped. So you look at a constitutional anomaly whereby I know the Constitution does not really create the office of the Minister of State, but by conventional norms, successive government have been coming in, appointing a senior minister and appointing a Minister of State. At the end of the day, you see the Minister of the State and the federal minister in constant conflict. And you realize that the Minister of State, who is deemed to be a junior minister, cannot really perform in that capacity. But he is a minister of the federal government. He is representing a state. So when you allow the governors to nominate and appoint the state electoral commission board, and is being given directives from the government house to conduct election and select 31 local government chairmen and the 439 councillors, what do you expect from the electoral body? Do you expect them to go against the dictates of the government? No, they cannot go against. So you can never have a free and fair process until our constitution is being amended, so that INEC can always be the one conducting election from the local government level to the state level and to the federal level. That is when I think there will be a departure from what has been the norm, what we're having now.
Brian, so where does granting local government full autonomy, come in? Just this is the last thing we're going to talk about this particular one before we get to the next topic we have today.
Okay, please, what is the question?
I said, where does granting, the local government full autonomy now come in all of this?
Yes, of course, this has been a perennial issue. This issue has been debated even in the 2012 or 2014 confab. Yes, the 2014 confab, which the former president Goodluck Jonathan blatantly refused to implement the contributions where Nigerians make in that confab. He refused to implement what the members of that confab reached with the resolutions. Was local government autonomy was one of the issues that were discussed. I remember vividly that local government autonomy was one of the issues. Even the successive National Assembly have debated on this issue, and I see the state governors and the state legislators as being a cog in the wheel of this democratic progress, because it is the state governors that constantly impede the National Assembly from granting local autonomy to local government.
Okay, I would love to
If
go deep,
you,
Barrister. I would love to go deep, to ask more questions, especially when you say that it has a lot to do with state governance. But looking at my time, I just have 2 minutes to round up on this topic so we can take a look at the judgment debts that the president is currently seeking approval from the Senate to pay.
okay.
Okay, so we're just going on a short break. When we come right back, the show continues. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Okay.
All right, welcome back to the program, The Law of the People and Governance here on Spectrum Television. This is a program that talks about social issues and, of course, political issues here in Nigeria as well. And before we went on that break, we took a look at some of the bills that have passed first and second reading, some of the vital bills that should have been assented to by the governor of Akwa Ibom State if the bill had been presented on time. Well, let's hope that the next administration will take a look at such bills. Right away, we're taking a look at the judgment debt to the tune of over 704 billion naira that is being owed by the federal government, and the President Muhammadu Buhari has asked for approval of the Senate to pay such bills, to borrow such bills, being judgment debt owed by the federal government through the issuance of promissory note. And this was contained in a later raid on the floor of the Senate by the Senate President Ahmed Lawan. And the later read, part of the later, I'm just going to read part of it. The distinguished Senate President may wish to be informed that the Federal Executive Council at its meeting of March 29, 2023, approved the liquidations of top priority judgment debts and general judgment debts owed by ministries, departments, and agencies, MDAs, through the issuance of promissory notes. The judgment debts are to be settled through the issuance of promissory notes, which will then be redeemed over time through provisions in the budgets of the federal government of Nigeria. Thus, debt securities have been issued for the settlement of the judgment debts, and approval of the National Assembly is required for this purpose. In view of the foregoing, according to the President, he wishes to request the Senate to kindly consider and approve through its resolution the settlement of the top priority judgment debts and general judgment debts incurred by federal ministries, departments, and agencies. I can't go through them all through, but it's totaling 704 billion naira through the issuance of promissory note. And I know that, okay, according to him, he says the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice and Honorable Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning shall provide any information that may be required by the Senate for the consideration of this request. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives on Wednesday approved the extension of the implementation period of the capital component of the 2022 Appropriation Act by 6 months from June to December 2023. Let's not go into there. Let's talk about the judgment debts currently on ground. Now, there are so many reactions. I know that Afe Babalola has come out to say, no, the Senate shouldn't grant such requests. But I'm wondering, why is this at just 3 days to exit? What is happening? So we'll take a look at this issue. I'm sure that our guest is already on standby to talk to us about this issue. Welcome back again, Barrister. Okay, Barrister, I know that, when this topic came into my mind, when I saw this, I was just laughing on my own. I know you have a lot to say about this. With just 3 days, to the exit of the president, Muhammadu Buhari, and the inauguration by the ruling of the court, the president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu into office as the next president of Nigeria. And then we're already incurring this kind of debt, and we're looking for money to settle a huge, whooping sum of 704 billion naira, over 704 billion naira. What do you have to say about, what's your take on this issue?
The president to transmit a letter to the National Assembly asking them for approval for 800 million naira to be used to settle judgment debts. Settling judgment debts is not a problem, actually. It is part of the duties of government. Judgments that have been incurred by ministries, departments, parastatals, agencies of government. Yes, in the course of running the government in the last 4 years, the ministries, so many ministries, departments, agencies, and parastatals have received judgments that is not in favor of them. But my problem is, why now?
I think that's the major concern. Why now?
Why is the president acting as if he was not aware that he was going to leave the government house on the 29th of May 2023? Just last week, the same president had also transmitted a letter to the National Assembly to approve a loan for him, which is meant to alleviate the total subsidy removal, to alleviate the sufferings of the people, and a kind of aid, only looking at the fact that subsidy is going to be removed totally. And all these are coming at the exit point of the Buhari-led government. It is only reasonable to ask this question: why now? The government is in continuum. The Buhari government should leave and allow the incoming administration to take care of some of these things. If they are actually very necessary, the incoming administration will look into these issues. The Buhari government should leave these issues in his valedictory note and keep it on the table of the incoming president. Let the incoming president look at all these things. If they need be, the incoming government will look at it and will attend to it. Let it not be that you are leaving government on Monday. Of course, the President Buhari has since last week moved into the glass house. So he has moved into the glass house, meaning that his government
is over.
Winding up. Everybody, in fact, as at this afternoon, information reaching out is that Astro Rock has been emptied. So why are you still applying to the Senate, to the National Assembly, for approval of such humongous amount of money?
Barrister, where is this money expected to come from when Nigeria is already owing a huge debt? Isn't this going to make Nigeria incur more debts?
Please, I'm not hearing you.
I said, is this not going to make Nigeria incur more debts?
Of course, but so the approving this fund by the National Assembly is one thing. Then where the president is going to source this money from is another thing. Because it's all it needs is the approval of the National Assembly. And the National Assembly is not in position to release this fund. So having approved this fund, he is just looking for legislative backing. He himself knows where to source this money from. So sourcing this money might, one of the ways he sources this money might result in this loan that the government constantly takes. So he will keep dampening the country into perennial debt, which already we have exceeded our limits. So I have never seen a country like Nigeria where the government borrows to fund the lifestyle of those piloting the government.
You know
To
exactly
fund the
my
lifestyle of the National
point,
Assembly, to fund the
Barrister.
lifestyle of the executive.
Barrister, borrowing was supposed to, it's not wrong to borrow, like you always say, it's not wrong to borrow for a country. Other countries borrow as well, but what is the money borrowed supposed to, you know, where is it supposed to go to? I think it's supposed to go into investing into productive things that would generate that money back.
A country that borrows money to fund their recurrent expenditure is a government that is likely to fail. I've never seen any country in the history of our democracy that borrows money to fund recurrent expenditure. You only borrow money to fund capital expenditure. You borrow money for infrastructure. You borrow money to invest. That will automatically automatically catapult in investment and the resultant outcome of the money that was borrowed. But you see a country like Nigeria that borrows money and current expenditure. This is totally out of it. Of course, currently Nigeria is bereft of infrastructural deficit. There are so many areas, the health sector, the educational sector, there are so many areas that these funds should be used on, but they are not using these funds. So you just see people, you just see a government that's borrowing money to share. You just see a government that's borrowing money. And of course, this is an outright looting and stealing of public funds.
Okay, so Barrister,
there's nothing actually wrong with borrowing money. Of course, all government borrows money, even the United States of America, the biggest economies, they borrow money. But you don't borrow money and use in an area that is not supposed to be used. You don't borrow money for recurring. You don't borrow money to put in. Okay, for example, like now, the patching gift, that's what they call for our legislators, amounts to over 300 and something million naira. Just for the legislators to go home with. You see the Senate president going with about 6.7 or 7.4 million.
Is hazard allowance included in that?
What do you say?
Hazard allowance, that's the one that makes me laugh more.
Okay, of course, the allowance is not even added. This is just this is just what do they call it? A patching. Kind of patching gift.
Barrister, you know what? I think that whenever I see hazard allowance being paid to senators, you know, I now think of something. Don't you think that it would have been proper? Maybe the military people, the police people, the medical doctors. That is not the case here. I'm just mentioning in passes. Then one last question. It's not something we'll deliberate on, but I just need your take on that particular issue. The president made a strong statement that people are wondering. I mean, for the president to say, if you come for me, the people in Niger Republic will actually defend me. I mean, that has sparked so many reactions, and then people are asking questions. Why that statement? What has it got to do? Or I don't know how to put it, but what has Nigeria got to do with the Niger Republic? Or why would everyone want to go after the president? Why is he scared? Hello, Barrister.
Hello.
Okay, yeah. So I said the president make a shocking statement that sparked so many reactions, saying that if Nigerians decide to come after him, Niger Republic is going to defend him, and that has sparked so many reactions. What was your reaction when you saw that statement flying around, going viral?
Please, I'm not hearing you. What are you saying?
Can you hear me?
No, I can't. Please.
Okay, we're having some network issues. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, so I'm talking about the statement made by the president that said that if Nigerians decide to come after him, right, Niger Republic is going to defend him. So there are so many reactions around that statement. What was your reaction when you first saw that statement going viral?
He said the president said Niger Republic is a...
Oh my God. I wish we could hear you right now, but I can't even hear you and you can't hear me as well. I think we're having some network issues and I'm checking our time. We have just some minutes, I think 2 minutes before we round up the show. But if you can hear me, then it wasn't part of the topic we're discussing today. It was just to get your reactions
Please,
on that.
I
So
can hear you now. I can hear you. You said the.
okay, I was talking about the statement that reported that the president said if Nigerians decide to come after him, then the Niger Republic government will defend him. Okay, I think we're still having network issues. Well, at this point, I'd like to say thank you so much to Barrister Martins who joined us virtually. And of course, this is where we close the curtains for today. Thank you for being a part of the show, The Law of the People and Governance. It returns to your TV screen next week. But don't forget to follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, SpectrumTv.ng. Follow us on Twitter at SpectrumT online. That's our Twitter handle. Don't forget to follow us. And of course, my name is Rachel David White. Good evening.